I had a friend that gave me this really nice piece of Bubinga wood, and what I did is I took my bandsaw and I cut off this section of it to use for my handle grips, and then I took the old handle, traced them on here, and you can see I've cut out a couple of these, one for each side. All these drill holes are drilled here so I could practice on the depth that I needed to get that screw to go all the way through and tie into the gun. Another nifty trick, I don't know if you know this one, but you can see here I take my blank Bubinga with the pre-holed drilled holes, and on the back side I take two pieces of blue tape, one on the Bubinga and one on this piece of stock. I put super glue in between them, compress them in the vise for about 15 seconds, and now I have a nice handle grip that I can use to hold against my belt sander and not get too close to nick off the ends of my fingernails. So that's a real nice trick if you can do it. I'm going to start by sanding down to my line around the perimeter, and then also getting some nice straight surfaces on the edge, because this was done with a scroll saw and there's a little bit of wiggle in there. After that, I'm going to round the edges as much as I can do with this before I go to my palm sander. If you take a look here, you can see my sacrificial block that is super glued with blue tape to the handle. I can clamp it in this clamp and have it high and an easy position for me to take my palm sander and work on it, and it's nice and stable. So the progression of sanding in this project is I used my orbital sander, my palm sander, with this 220 grit to start off with, and then I used to this 400 grit on the orbital sander, and then I finished it off using these grits on my micro mesh, and what you end up with is something that looks like this. This has not even been coated yet. This is just the raw wood sanded to a high luster. And now I'm going to go ahead and take and put a super glue finish on here that will waterproof it, and also I can polish that layer of plastic with these micro meshes and then buff it and get it to a high luster. This is the first of 3 coats of this stick-fast thin CA glue. I'll put 3 coats on, and then we'll use very fine abrasives to polish it down and finally buff it on the buffing wheel. Now just a few taps with the chisel to remove this tape. There we go. And then we can pull this off, and if there's a little bit of overflow, that can be sanded away. What a wonderful idea. I wish it was mine originally. So here's my final result. These are the originals, and I don't know what kind of wood it was, but it was fairly inexpensive. Backside they just kind of put rivets through here for the insignia. And now this is the refurbished gun with a Bubinga grip, and I'm real happy with the way it turned out. So you can see, if you take some time and are willing to put in some sanding, you'll get a real nice finish, and you can make your own handle grip that you'll be real proud of. Thanks for watching. Pistol was actually a gift from my 99-year-old aunt. I'm not into shooting guns, and this particular gun has a bad reputation for stovepiping the ammunition. So it's nice to look at, but I don't think I want to shoot it.